it's kind of ironic because it's just I've talked about how much I love that podcast before, and now it's like, well, 6-8 months later, I hate it. No,
we're gonna start this podcast with Matt telling us which podcast he now hates. That he used to love.
Is this going? Are we going? I hope we cut it off just before I say what it was that I was talking about. And nobody knows.
We'll do that.
It's Rogan. I can't stand Rogan.
Well, that's too easy.
It is too easy now, right? Oh my gosh.
I've been wanting to share this meme actually of like Joe Rogan fans pre and post Spotify. I'll share it. So
that's it.
Pay attention. Welcome to the Neverending Becoming. Matthew is in the house.
Long time no see, fellas.
Yeah, here we go.
And ladies, maybe.
Post 4th of July, we're still free.
Barely.
Still standing, still strong.
We'll see. We're in the end times here, people.
It's hard not to worry about the turbulence. Matt put the red on the television behind us. You can't even see it, actually. The way
Threat level midnight.
The camera frame, you can't even see it.
Oh, my God.
We'll have to just entertain with our voices, our concepts. What's going on, Matt? What's on your mind?
The end of democracy. No, I don't want to start it there. I want to, ease into it. I told him, he's like, you want to do the podcast? I'm like, be careful, because I am like full of it right now, but I don't want to.
We did the outline before we started. Let's tastefully build up for 15 minutes towards an abortion segment.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I wanted let's talk about abortion, right? Like, no, I don't know. I just feel like there's just, it's one of those periods of time where there's so much going on, I feel like. You had, what happened last night? They assassinated the former Prime Minister of Japan.
That's a big one.
You have Boris Johnson resigning from the prime ministership like the day before that. You have Roe v. Wade the week before. You had a mass shooting in Highland Park over the weekend.
Yeah, that doesn't feel good. Watch the bangs on the table.
Sorry, bang, bang, bang. See, I'm so fucking
Matt
feeling it today.
So worked up. He's gonna hit the table every time he feels the pitter patter in his American heart.
Khrushchev, I'll get the shoe out.
Yeah, the mass shooting being so close to Chicago, not cool. And you actually were in Illinois. I was in Wisconsin. And he did the shooting in Illinois and then traveled to Wisconsin to perpetrate another shooting.
And then chickened out. Chickened out maybe is not the proper word for that, but he decided against it, thank God, right? Like,
I'm even so split on this stuff because I don't want to give those people any shine. Like, I almost don't even want to talk about them because they're
that's
doing
what it's
that.
about, right?
Yeah, for some sort of like loser notoriety.
Oh my God, it's so just I don't know, and it's interesting too because it seems now it's like these like younger people. It's like people in their 20s. I don't really see, the last couple of them have been like younger people.
Oh, I mean younger men, yeah, every time.
Much. Yeah. The Uvalde was the 18-year-old. This kid was a 22-year-old. It's like, why is it that these younger people feel like this is what they have to do to like feel seen?
What happened to a good old-fashioned drug addiction? Right?
Do some meth, people. Meth's still out there. We still have meth. We could do that.
I mean, granted, that's what's making Arizona crazy, and they're locking everyone down in their houses. But seriously, this he hasn't even lived long enough to screw up his life like a little bit yet. Like,
no.
How do you feel so distraught at that age? I just want to instantly like look at the biological mechanisms, be like, well, he's too testosteroned out, like,
or not enough, or like it's totally chemically imbalanced, right?
Well, yeah, I guess right. I mean, there's definitely some mental neurochemicals, right? But the testosterone, like, he's clearly not lifting weights or playing sports or doing something with his body. It's like, use that. Matt, give him a lesson.
I'm just kidding. No, I mean, like, I don't do anything with my body. I hope that does not preclude me or. What's the word? Not preclude. It's the other one.
Exclude? I don't know.
No. The one I don't want to commit a mass shooting is what I'm trying to say. Because
be clear
I don't
about
work
that.
out.
Please be clear about that.
I do not ever want to.
For our impressionable young listeners.
Jesus.
Well, but he's 20 years old though. What were you doing when you were 20? Were you like more active or did you?
No, I mean, I was living in the city. I was like partying. I had like that's part of it too. Is like I had like a friend group, right? I was in the city. I was like doing stuff. I didn't feel isolated, right? Maybe he felt very specifically isolated, and like this was his only thing.
Ridiculous.
It's interesting. There's like a flavor to these kind of people, But anyways, yes. So there's just
bitter
been
flavor.
A bitter. Yes. So there's been a lot going on. So it feels like there's a lot to,
Yes, and you haven't been on in a while, so
no. I'll try to keep it under control.
No, I was gonna say it feels like you want to talk about everything. Just impossible.
It's impossible.
I just saw like a data visualization too of just the pure amount of data we're creating as humans. And we're going to double it like what we've already done in like 2 years from now. So whatever haystack we've created in the information age online with all the tweets, posts, whatnot, it's all going to be like doubled very quickly. And then, of course, like the other half of the world is going to go online.
That's what I was just going to say.
The world is online. So a lot of this stuff is probably going to accelerate, and we probably going to need to build those skills so that we just straight up stop paying attention to certain things.
Oh my God, it's so hard.
The old zone out.
Yeah. My partner, she kind of not teases me, but I feel like we have two different styles like that, right? Like I am like a vacuum, I just take literally everything in and I'm always analyzing everything, right? Like I'll read 10 million articles, like the shoot, I'll read like 5-6 different articles about the shooting just because I want to piece together the actual story. I don't want to read one thing and just be like, oh, this is reality. Like I want to get all the facts. She will like just is the opposite. She wants to know nothing. We'll be in a restaurant and I'm like, do you see that? Do you see that? Are you seeing that? She's like, what are you even looking at? How do you see all this stuff? I was like, you're not observing the world around. But it's
what's
like,
her secret? What does she do to protect herself?
She's just a Zen master, I guess.
Meditates.
She doesn't. But I just feel like it's just her personality. She's just a little bit more chill. She doesn't want any of that. I want it, I guess.
I think she might have something to teach you, or you have to find that Goldilocks zone between the two of you because
Well, then I fill her in on things, and she's like, "Man, I don't want to know that," and I'm like,
right.
"I don't want to know it either, but I have to, share it." And that's not what she wants either, Like, it's anxiety-inducing, right? For some people, it's like anxiety-inducing.
How about like a news show? Everything's gonna come down to an idea for a news show where
Business
you consume. Yes, or it's all like loosely podcast offshoots. You consume like all the news stories on behalf of the average American, and then you spend time saying this is the one thing you need to know today, and just forget everything else.
I would love that. I would love doing that, being that person.
I was gonna say you are in best position to do this because you're consuming everything. That's step one.
I know, right? I
Step
just
two is
constantly,
choosing what to ignore.
Nothing. I can't. Well, what if that little piece of information is like the one piece that like connects all the dots together?
Please, I mean, you can't connect the dots. That's the problem. It feels like you should connect the dots, but I think the world is just too complex.
I don't anymore. I was definitely
down.
a conspiracy guy, and I was like, lizard people. No, I'm not a lizard.
Yeah, that's right. That's kind of what conspiracy theories
that's the
are.
idea,
is
right?
Taking these big, complex adaptive systems and kind of shoving them into one sex scandal.
The idea that like it's chaos, right? And there isn't a giant cabal running the world. That's like a scary thought because then it's like a free for all, right? Like the idea that there's a conspiracy and that there's just like even if say you believe in these like Democrat child pedo demon rings, right? It's like this idea that there's like a secret thing controlling everything. And so those are the answers, right? They're monsters, but they have answers, right? If they don't exist, there are no answers. And then what happens to you? Then you're just like a poor guy in Iowa. And then what the like...
Yeah, I heard just gonna spit quotes out every time you say something that seems profound to me. The hard part isn't feeling like the world is against you. It's realizing the world is indifferent.
Yeah, oh man, dude, it doesn't give a fuck about you. That's what I feel like is so... But that's freeing in a way. That's so freeing in a way.
It is. It depends on how you take it.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's important.
I mean, you are like... Not you, but you're nothing, right? Like in the scheme of things, right? There's 9 billion of you out there, right? So like know that, right? Like you could, I don't know. It's freeing in a sense, I don't know. I used to be very conspiratorial. I used to totally do the whole thing. I was very into like all sorts of, tell the story to somebody recently, how I was super into Pizzagate, right? And I was like convinced for a minute, that like something was up, dude. And I don't remember what it was exactly that I was just like, I'm actually out of my mind. None of this makes sense to, I broke the cycle and I just like.
You don't remember what broke the camel's back?
I feel like I probably, that one little bit of information that I needed was just like, this is too far. Like this is, part of it was like, I started like, I think I realized that like I said, this doesn't really make any sense. Like if you really like all of these people know this thing, like everybody's in on this thing. Like, wait, there's never been any. It's like the moon landing, okay? For people who think the moon landing's fake, okay? Like, okay, cool, but like, you're gonna tell me that there's like 100,000 people out there that are able to keep this secret.
Okay.
That after all of this time, there isn't like the soundstage hasn't been found, the props haven't been found. Somebody on their deathbed wasn't like, okay, I was the director, I was the scenic painter for the moon. You know what I'm saying? Like,
there's 5 straight to Kindle books being made. All tell-alls about this being a fake conspiracy.
You know what I'm saying?
There's something to that. The older you get, you realize how hard it is for like 5 people to work on anything, let alone 500 people to conspire all around the world, all throughout time.
Right? You know, I do believe that there's financial people that are able to like move levers, but I don't think that like there's like I don't know.
Give me another good idea though about a way to fix this is just parody it into oblivion.
Sure.
Like daily news show, taking all the news stories. You can mention all the news stories, but then at the end of the show, you connect them all in one conspiracy.
I'm going to stop you right there. That show is called InfoWars, and it's presented by Alex Jones, current criminal suit and suit filer. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's true.
But like, you know what I mean?
10 years what I'm describing.
The parody part of it is the part that I enjoy. But that's like people are really doing that now, right? It's I can't handle it anymore. I can't handle it.
It's too much. It's too much, so let's just not even do it, you know? Let's just stay level-headed, talk about something that matters to us. And
the nationalist Christians, or the Nat-Cs, as they are commonly referred to, are controlling this country, I feel like. Do you like that? I love that. Somebody said that. Somebody's calling them Christian nationalists. I'm like, no. They're nationalist Christians, because it's Nat-C, Nazis. You know, they're Nazis.
Oh, okay. I didn't get what was happening there.
Sorry, I guess it's not.
No, the wordplay is just lost on me. Without the headphones on, I feel like you don't get it drilled into your ears as easily. Nazis.
Anyways.
Well, I was going to say nationalists should, make sense if they're running the country because it's a national endeavor.
Yeah. But I was
trying to tie the Christian thing in with it. But
God. Anyways.
Makes a lot of sense.
I don't know. I guess it's the lack of control as I'm feeling recently. You know, it's sometimes you're okay with it and it's just like things happen. But when it's like things you don't want to happen and like you feel really powerless over them, it's just like, wow, you get frustrated. You want to come on a podcast and shout into the void. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Abortions. Was that your transition? I'm sorry.
No, yeah,
abortions.
But
shouting into the void.
Oh my God.
Abortions.
See, and it's just, abortions, right?
I mean, there's not, honestly, with that topic specific, I feel like I can't even say anything about it. Like, there's nothing I even have to add to the conversation. It almost seems like a trope to talk about. Like, I can't believe we're still fighting this issue.
There's this clip running around of this woman in Kentucky, and she's at like a board meeting. And she basically is up there and she's talking about how she's the only physician, she's the only woman, and they're all men talking about abortion. And they're like, she was the only woman to vote against this bill that was gonna ban abortion. And she's like, I'm the only one here with any experience, and all you stupid men are gonna do this, and you're killing women, right? She's like, you're killing women, and they're all like, they don't give a fuck. They couldn't care any less. It's heartbreaking is what it is. But yes, you're right. I feel like as a man, I have nothing to say about it other than like men need to get the fuck out of the way and like stop actively harming other people. But here you go, back to conspiracies. The reason why they got rid of abortion. Why do you think?
I feel like the conspiracy answer is is it white nationalism or something? Is it going to be
yeah, partly
keep the country white?
Yes, 100%.
I heard someone say that
60% of abortions are white abortions, or Caucasians getting abortions. So you're now preventing the white race from dying in America, because that's the idea. Like minorities, Latinos, blacks, all them.
But time out. Do you know the numbers on this? 60%.
That's what they said. I was reading this article. This woman was talking about it, and then I went down the rabbit hole, and it's something like 60% of abortions are performed by.
Okay, maybe we did talk about this briefly when I saw you, because I'm just thinking the numbers are America is 75% white, so they're underrepresented in the abortion statistics. We're not doing our numbers. We're not putting up the right number of abortions.
Also, white birth rates are going down, though. That's the thing. Like, even though we're still the piece of a pie that makes us up, but that over the years the pie is shrinking, right?
Yeah, it's like a data thing. It's hard to project.
But like
moving forward,
the idea is that it's gonna just disappear. We're gonna disappear. We're not gonna disappear, people. It's fine. And even if we do, so fucking what? Like, I want to be Greylings. I want everybody to just mix and have the best genetic cocktail for everybody, right?
Greylings.
Oh God, aliens. Do you know what aliens? Aliens are Greylings. Well, the idea is that aliens, like these big-headed things we see, that's like the final step in evolution. Our mixing, we've all mixed together, and so our skin is gray now because we're all together.
Greylings.
And that's what aliens are called. That's like the Area 51's Greylings. This is a term that's been around forever. I know I use the UAP term, and there's new terms, but Greylings were the original aliens with the big eyes. Greylings.
What's UAP?
Unidentified aerial phenomenon. We've did a whole podcast about a year and a half ago, which you reluctantly did because he hates UFOs, and you reluctantly did it, but we talked about it.
It's true. Well, I got to play the heel too.
I know you
the
do.
audience. Like,
wrestling terms. Vince McMahon. You see the whole big thing with this guy?
I did.
And then came out today or yesterday that it was like, okay.
So let's just give some context.
Break it down for the kids.
For people who aren't following.
One of my heroes.
The Esquire.
One of my heroes. I can't say that now because of how horrible it is, the situation. It's not really a horrible situation. But, I've talked previously about how much I would love to have dinner with Vince McMahon. He's just a fascinating individual.
What did Vincent do?
So he had a consensual relationship with a paralegal and kind of paid her off.
You're talking about this kind of like you're his lawyer.
I know I am.
So he had a consensual relationship.
But, so I'm saying because there's other relationships that he then had that's now coming out of the woodwork that might have been less than consensual.
I need to hear about this because I just saw some headline, but I have no idea what's going on exactly.
So we know Vince is like the head of $1 billion company. But like I've said before, people don't take wrestling seriously. So a lot of the things they do get swept under the rug. But now they are becoming bigger and bigger, and like there's a lot of money floating around. So because they're a publicly traded company, a payoff that Vince made to this girl kind of showed up, and everyone's like, where did this $3 million go? You're trading or basically paying off with publicly traded companies' funds. So just because you can't do that. So there's an investigation, right? She was hired at like $100,000, and then she started having a relationship with him, and then she was getting $200,000 a year as a paralegal. And then this is the really weird, gross thing. So there's another guy that works here, John Laurinaitis, who's a wrestler. He's head of talent relations. He's been around forever. Pretty creepy of a guy, pretty shitty of a guy. Johnny Ace, he's an old wrestler. Well, apparently Vince then allowed this paralegal to go out with Johnny Ace, and they kind of traded her back and forth. And so she eventually got tired of this situation, was like, I don't feel comfortable doing this. So they were like, okay, fine. But we don't want you to tell anybody what we're doing, so we'll give you $3 million. So she got $3 million, and it was like, okay. And then I guess somebody was not too keen on this, so they emailed all the details to a bunch of publications that were like the Wall Street Journal and all this stuff. And then it's like, okay, so here we go. And so they started this investigation into it. Uh-oh, we're looking at levels not showing up.
Let me test one thing quickly. It's okay.
So I'll just keep going then, just in case. So I'll just keep going. So yeah, so then today or yesterday, it's come to find out that there isn't any, did it stop?
What's that?
Did it stop? Okay, I'm just going. Yeah. So all the details to a bunch of, to go out with Johnny Ace, and they kind of traded her back.
We're fine. I was just paranoid. I forgot to check one thing that was acting fucked up. Continue, I'm sorry.
We're just going to break it.
It's better to know.
Yeah. Are we going to leave this all in?
This isn't the WWE. Yeah, we're going to.
Cool.
This isn't the WWE, okay? I'm not running some...
No, but WWE is live. This is perfect.
This
is WWE. They just let things happen. It's just going.
We're going to end this episode. I'm going to body slam Matt on the table.
Fucking suplex me and just destroy it. Let's do it, dude. So long story short, they did this investigation, and it turned out this wasn't the only one. So even though he's claiming this was consensual, there's several other payments that he's made throughout the year, something like $15 or $12 million throughout the years for different individuals that have had other maybe non-consensual or,
Okay, so he was dipping the proverbial pen in the company ink, which is now an Elon Musk move, right?
Hear about his twins?
Having kids at Neuralink. Sounds like I was rhyming there.
He just had, do you see he slept with his executive and she's having twins that they just came out?
Yes. Like within 7 months after having like twins with Grimes or multiple children with Grimes.
Yeah, classy guy, right?
But specifically with Vince, he was just basically treating his company like a slush fund because it was private. When did they go public?
Maybe like 10, 12 years ago.
Okay.
It's only gone up. The stock is like, it has little dips, but like over time, it's like making money. Like they make money. Like the WWE audience doesn't like shrink. There's the same amount of people that watch it. And they make the money off of these NBC Universal deals. They just sold the WWE network to Peacock for $1 billion. They're making money off of the Saudi Arabia deal. They're getting like something like $100 million from Saudi Arabia every year. It's like they're not falling apart or anything. But again, conspiracy, I think they want to move Vince out. I think that it was like there's a guy that's running it named Nick Khan, and he's like the next in line now. He showed up, used to be an agent for CAA, which is a big
CCA?
agency. CCA, I think it is.
I think so.
And then he helped them do the NBC Universal deal, so they brought him over. So in the last 3 years, you've seen him rise up into the ranks to be like the number 2. He's come out of nowhere.
Interesting. So they want to take more Comcast money and less Saudi Arabian oil money.
And they want to get out of the Vince McMahon business, where you have founder syndrome, where you have one guy who's still the guy, and it's like he's 78 years old, and you're trying to stay young and hip and fresh, and you have like a 78-year-old man running your company, that he is the final say in everything. So ultimately, I think it's a way to try to like move him out. So he's already stepped down from the CEO, and now his daughter Stephanie McMahon's the CEO now. So anyways,
I can't imagine how much of the company's fund he's using to Botox his balls. And
dude, well, never mind. There's so much going on.
Dye his hair.
Tanning, that was the big thing. He was tanning, and that was a couple years ago. He went tanning, and then he like exposed himself to the tanning salon person.
This is an actual scandal. He's been embroiled in.
Yeah, he flashed some, and then they turned him down.
Physical appearance improvement, like.
But like going back, but like okay, then let's take Elon Musk, right? And remember the whole thing in the plane where he was getting a massage, and he was just like finish me off, and she's just like gross, like.
Is that what it was?
Something like that, right? Isn't that what it was?
I don't know.
I'll buy you a house, and she's just like he's like what is it? Whatever gross thing he said, and I'll do it, and I'll buy you a house, and she was just like no. I'm going to sue you for millions more. Are you kidding me? And then she did. Good for her. Yeah. I don't know, man. I feel like these men absolute power are corrupt, absolutely. What were you going to tell me?
If you get $1 billion now in your bank account, you should have to wear like a dash cam on your chest, like a
on your cock,
like a police.
Always filming down on your cock. So just wherever it goes. But I'm sure some lawyers out there would like that because you'd have less payoffs. You'd have less payoffs, right?
There should be some program where if your net worth goes high enough,
if you're a billionaire,
you have to GoPro your balls.
And then just slaps around, the GoPro just slapping around. Like, but seriously, like you're a billionaire, you're fucking, it's like every time you're having sex, there's a chance you're going to lose several $1 million, right? Somebody's going to try to fleece you for something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. This is where we find out all of a sudden all these scandals. Elon starts like heavily investing in sex robot technology.
Trying to get Twitter, trying to do Twitter, which failed today. Shocking. I'm so shocked that he didn't actually buy it.
Let's do our 2 minutes on that. What's behind that? It's obviously, is it the market crashing, him not having the same amount of money, or was it just he was looking to pay $1 billion for headlines?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was always a sham.
I
never thought he was really interested in Twitter. I early on they were like he had the opt-out clause.
People say it was an excuse for him to sell Tesla stock at the top.
Again, I feel like everything is about him selling Tesla stock, his making his money off of Tesla.
Follow the money.
I mean, that's really what it's always been about for him. And inflating it so that everyone thinks it's this bigger company, and then he steals, not steals, but like sells the money, stock buybacks, the whole thing, inflates his actual wealth. And really, what is Tesla producing now? It's like, besides government subsidies. He's just taking the government subsidies and funneling it into himself. And he's using Twitter and social media as successfully as possible as a business person,
I wish I could remember the attribution, but I just saw someone make the comparison that Tesla is like the next Netflix because it was this big disruptive innovation company where people were a big fan of the brand and everyone loved it, but then there's no moat and all the competition came. Disney Plus, right? Apple TV Plus, Paramount Plus.
Ford is making electric cars, all this money into electric cars and batteries.
The legacy OEMs, as they're called now, have all this manufacturing capability, and Tesla really hasn't innovated on the level that they innovated probably in the preceding 5 years. Like their battery tech hasn't improved as much as it did from 0 to 1, and their autopilot never quite happened, and the robo-taxis never happened.
That's what they're saying is like that technology is just not feasible. That's just not feasible right now. And they're trying to buffalo everybody and thinking it's going to happen soon or it's going to come in next. But it's just too impossible. It's too chaotic. It's too many variables that it's just not going to work. Also, I was reading that like what they like to do is they like to build everything from scratch. They don't like to take components or pieces of material. So everything has to be built from the very bottom. There's a term for it that I'd never heard before that somebody's talking about. That it's in your prefabric. That's not the word, but it's like you're during your fabrication phase. But everything has to be fabricated in Tesla. It's like very proprietary stuff. But it also slows them down from making things quicker or like being able to produce things. So I don't know, man. I think he's obviously not a dumb person, but I think that like the hero worship is just like I've never been a fan of the hero worship for that guy. But
I mean, anyone getting that much attention in a world of nearly 8 billion people is probably just out of balance.
He's not Shaq, you know? You like
I
that?
actually also just saw. I'm just gonna bring up things I just saw online. This podcast is gonna become like what I just saw on Twitter. I saw
That's literally what I do. I don't understand. That's what I've been doing for years, bro. Like,
someone cracking jokes about like what big men in the NBA used to look like, and it was Shaq and like David Robinson and shit versus big men now, and it was like these two skinny ass dudes on like the Thunder. Do you know who these guys are? What their names are?
Yes, I do, but I can't tell you because I'm brain dead. But yes,
No, they're not famous enough. Shaq was in like spray commercials. And shit.
But they're 7 foot. They're 7-footers. You got. It's probably not Kristaps Porzingis. Kristaps Porzingis, maybe. No, he's not on the Thunder. He's on the Dallas Mavericks. But yes, Chet Holmgren. Chet Holmgren. He's one of the new guys. Chet Holmgren.
It's
They
just
just
funny to
drafted
think
him.
Shaq had to like change. They had to change the NBA backboards due to Shaq's girth and dunking ability.
To be fair though, like even though like there's tall guys out there, but like nobody fills the space like Shaq does. Like
He's
Shaq is
unreal.
literally a genetic anomaly. You know, like LeBron James, they're genetic anomalies. You know what I mean? The things that their bodies are able to do for the long periods of time they do them, that's like incredible. You know, not that they don't work at it, not that they don't like put the effort in, but there are genetic gifts that they both have that like help them do the things that they do. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah.
it's pretty incredible. And Shaq is like really seems like a nice, fun guy. You know.
We were talking about a lot of things that have been big the last few years. Personalities like Elon Musk that have commanded the world stage. Who do you feel like is on the come up?
On the come up.
Who do you feel like is
Stavros.
the next wave?
Stavros. Oh, what's his last name? Helnakit. I can never pronounce his last name.
Helvakros. I don't
Helvakros,
know.
yeah.
Stavros is extremely funny.
Oh my god.
In the comedy game.
Yeah, I just chose a comedian who I feel like is up and coming, who's getting more and more popular, who I really enjoy. Yeah.
I mean, it's not crazy to think that comedians will be in the White House in 20 years. Like
The Rock, man.
modern day philosopher. Yeah, Stavros and The Rock. 2038.
Oh my gosh.
Stavros was good.
Yeah.
Stavros was good. He's about our age too.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes it takes people like
Crazy to
time to
think
break
about.
in, you know, and figure find their voice and everything and what they're up to. You know,
I guess. Yeah, if we're supposed to live to 120, I feel like we're just getting
we're
started.
not
anyway.
going to live to 120.
Speak for
The
yourself.
species will not live another 110 years.
Sipping original Coke.
Sipping original.
Throughout the-
Let's see. This like literally this is gonna kill me with its 70% of my daily value of sugar. Right, includes 38 grams of sugar. There's no way I'm gonna live to 120.
Well, trying to pick a tech person. How about Vitalik Buterin, right? The Ethereum
Oh yeah,
creator.
yeah. That guy.
If you're gonna go for
But
less
fucking
braggadocious.
crypto is on the shits too. So like, what are you gonna do? Or do you feel like it's just a lull and it's gonna come back stronger?
Well, the promise is that it's 1999 Amazon that might boom and bust, but it's supposed to come back.
I
don't
don't
know
think
if
it's going to go anywhere, but I think that like it's not like Amazon where Amazon was one specific crypto, right? Like Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin will come back. You know, Dogecoin, I think Dogecoin's over. I think a lot of these other smaller cryptos are just not going to.
Feels like a winner take all type.
Yes, but I think like Bitcoin, even though it's down, I do think it's going to come back up because it has the name recognition. It does have the slot machine feel that people like. You know what I mean? I think eventually it'll be a slow climb, but
So I've been pretty negative on Bitcoin and crypto in general throughout its entire
you
run.
have. He has. I know. I've been on the podcast.
And speaking of the come up, I actually do think that there is something there in the Bitcoin story because of the belief, like you mentioned, that we're just going to keep living through this period where the information keeps flowing, it stays overwhelming, and we're going to want things to be the answer, like the main thing that we look to for our purpose and like our understanding of the world. And Bitcoin very much can be this thing because people are going to have no life. They need something to like entertain them. You mentioned the slot machine
yeah.
feel of the whole situation, but also just like making something your identity, like lawn dads that make cutting the grass their whole identity. Like same with crypto bros.
Yep, absolutely. I think too for a lot of people that was their escape. You know, they saw like a lot of like millennials that don't have a lot. Like, oh, this is my ticket to the wealth and the, security that a lot of my like parents or these, forgive me, boomers have. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The generational wealth, the fact that they have, you know what I'm saying, like cushions and stuff, and like a
It
lot
was
of
the hope. It was like a lottery ticket,
Right.
sort of.
you had to cash it out quick, and if you didn't cash it out when you should have, you got fucked, But yeah,
Who else is on the come up? Who else is doing well?
Yeah. Louis C.K. I'm just kidding. No.
He's definitely made a reemergence.
He is.
You're just gonna give me like comedians.
I am. That's all I
Old,
think
young,
about.
old, young, old, young.
I don't know. Obi-Wan Kenobi? No, that's a new show. I'm just kidding.
How about a new? Give me this. You mentioned Star Wars briefly. What's the next like Star Wars-esque franchise? What's something that can persevere?
I wish I have my hat on really askew. I wish that I could tell you that there's going to be a brand new franchise that's coming out that's going to blow your minds.
No, maybe it's one that's already around.
Unfortunately, it's all the things that you've seen before, just in new packaging, right? Like that's really what it is.
For instance, I just saw Stranger Things is going to have a
spin-off of Stranger Things, right? But you've seen Stranger Things, so I've never seen Stranger Things. As funny as that sounds,
I haven't either.
Never seen a single episode.
But I could see.
I'll just start watching the spin-offs. But like, do I really need to see the main show? I'm just gonna watch
Stranger this, Stranger that, Stranger Things, Stranger
Not so
that.
strange. This Stranger stuff.
So I could see that being one.
Spooky objects. Stranger Things, spooky objects. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that made him really like he liked it, but he also hated it.
Every trying to remix it with something else. I'm just thinking. Well, we mentioned Joe Rogan. Maybe his heyday is beyond. Who's the next podcaster? Obviously, us on this show. I mentioned Vitalik, who's always on Lex Friedman's show. He's kind of like one of the up and coming.
Lex is pretty up and coming. I think Lex is up and coming. I think he's getting more and more popular, more traction. I think I don't want to say he's the next Rogan. I think people like what he's selling, though. You know what I mean? It's in that same vein without the personality stuff.
His show kind of reminds me of like Charlie Rose or something, in the sense that I could see that, or Larry King. I could see that being that way forever, and always like having a certain audience, but it's always like a PBS feel.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
It's monotone, it's slow and long.
It's long form, but it's not like there's no what's the word I'm looking for?
Pizzazz.
That's literally what I was gonna say. That's literally what I was gonna friggin' say. There isn't so much, vavoom in him. It's a lot more just like, here you go.
No, there's not.
Mean potatoes. I dig it.
It's hard for that to get explosively big.
That's true.
So I could see Lex being around in the same format for literally 50 years moving forward. Having 8 wives, like Larry King.
Yeah. R.I.P.
How about like different ways people are on the come up? News people. Any news stuff?
Man, I don't know. I'm so focused on the end of everything. I'm not looking at people coming up. I'm like,
it's upsetting to think about green shoots.
Right. It is. It's like, wait, no, there's nothing new. We're just putting concrete over everything, and it's all gonna, crush it under our boot heels. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like there's like actor. I'm trying to think of like entertainment people, actors, actresses. I got one. I got a director that I really enjoy, and his movie is coming out today. Taika Waititi, man. I love that guy, and he's literally, speaking of he's making the next Star Wars movie.
There you go.
And he's like,
it all ties together in this grand conspiracy.
It does. It absolutely does. But he's like really good. Like I really enjoy his like the way he makes films, and like he made Jojo Rabbit, which was really good, and like the one he made before Thor was really good. Thor Ragnarok was really good, and now he's doing this fourth Thor movie, and then they like his stuff so much. Here's a Star Wars movie, which they haven't made a Star Wars movie since the sequels. However, it's going to be I guess like his own vision. It's not going to connect to anything that we've seen previously in any Star Wars movie.
Oh, that's good, actually.
So,
new blood.
It's pretty exciting.
I heard the Thor: Love and Thunder did get panned, though. It wasn't supposed to be good, right?
Actually, yeah, it's interesting. I've heard that it's not what people expected, or it's not what people wanted. It's from what I've heard, he's like, well, we've already seen the most bombastic, explosive, big version of him. Now he wanted to make like a love story, so it's kind of a romantic comedy. Is really what it is. Thor in love and like dealing with that.
People have a hard time with change.
They do, but that's the thing. This is literally the 4th Thor movie and like the 28th Marvel movie, right? So like we've seen it, So like to try to do something different, I'm into it. Like I'm ready to take the ride with him,
So the Marvel Cinematic Universe has had its day. You mentioned Star Wars kind of having its day, even not getting good reviews for Obi-Wan.
Well, it's interesting because Obi-Wan didn't get good reviews, but they were talking about how the last 3 Disney shows, the finale audience has grown by 20% each finale. So it went from like 3 million to like 3.2 to now it's like almost, the numbers are off, but it's just like the audience for these shows are growing and growing. So even though I thought Obi-Wan was a piece of dog shit, I watched every episode. I thought it was a piece of dog shit.
But you tuned in.
But I watched it, right? That's the thing. I watched it. And so all these people are watching it, so they're like, we need to make more Disney shows, right? We need to fill this void for people. But like Star Wars, Marvel, they are holding up a lot of stuff. You know, they're trying to prop up Disney with these 2 franchises, but they need to expand it because you're gonna dry the cow up, in my opinion.
Do you think one possible way out of this mass shooter situation is by Disney creating an incel show?
Oh my God.
They have like instead of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they have like the incel Cinematic Universe where they somehow are able to divert these young men's minds away from whatever extreme right authoritarianism with assault rifles on the side to some sort of consumer-based culture where they're just
some guy
fat.
in Disney's just like, tell me how to do this. Just tell me how to do this.
They just get these guys, young men, so fat and just apathetic that they're just unable to leave the house. Like more like the WALL-E feature.
I was just gonna say, yeah, like WALL-E, and they just all they need to do is more Marvel shows, more Star Wars shows, and they're just these like disgusting creatures that just want to consume instead of like murder and kill. I'm down.
There's something there.
There's
some options there.
Something there. Something for everybody. Something for everybody.
There does need to be some more room for new franchises, though, new blood. I mean, obviously the theaters are packed with historic franchises from Marvel.
Last 3 big movies: Top Gun, Jurassic Park, Thor. Right.
Right. Exactly. Even the Glastonbury Festival in the UK, like Paul McCartney just played. He's in his 80s. I mean, I love the Beatles.
Yeah.
I love the Beatles music, but what happened to like a young artist?
Yeah.
Or,
Why
like,
isn't Harry
fresh
Styles up
blood?
there? Not that I like it, but somebody, you know what I mean? Like somebody that could take the spotlight, that like, give him a push to. But to be fair, what do people want to see?
People just want nostalgia. They just want, to hear the same things over and over again. The mere exposure effect has just been drilled into their minds. Mm-hmm. People want comfort. It's a comfort culture. There's no doubt about that. I just want to hear what I like, what I know. I don't want to be challenged. But for God's sakes, the average age in this country is like 30 years old, 32 years old. We can't seriously ride this out. We can't just ride out with the hits. Yeah. I mentioned we're living to 120, so we're only a fourth of the way through. Whoa. We can't just seriously.
That's daunting. Well, I don't want to be halfway through, so I guess I'd rather be a third of the way through, a fourth of the way through.
I mean, we're closer to a third than half, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Modern tech.
Yeah.
Big possibility.
Oh, if I live to 90, I'll be happy. But I want to be a comfy 90. I don't want to be like a shit in my bed miserable 90.
But they just keep doing the same things. They just made the Elvis movie, and Elvis was popular before the Beatles, for God's sakes.
Yeah. Did we really need the Elvis biopic? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, yeah, I don't know. And then again, because all that does is just rekindle love for Elvis, right? You're not like building anything new. You're just going to go backwards, right? And there's no sequel for Elvis. You can't make a sequel for Elvis, right? It's over. That's the story.
I'm even thinking of like something like Lady Gaga.
Oh, yeah.
Taking like famous people in one domain, using them in another.
Mm-hmm. She's going to be in the new Joker movie. You hear that?
There you go. All the worlds combined. I did hear that. Yeah, this less light musical version. But she was like, she kind of busted out with A Star Is Born, which even that was a remake that they had done 4 or 5 times.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Barbra Streisand was in it. Yeah, they've done it multiple times, right?
Good Lord.
Yeah.
I've heard about this young guy. I know nothing. I shouldn't even bring this up. I'm going to do it anyway. On the off chance you've heard of him. I think his name is Cooper Wraith. He's like young 20s.
Yes.
And he's written a few movies.
Yes, I've heard of him.
Starred in his movies.
Yes. Now I want to get my phone out because I want to remember which they are. But yes, I've heard of him
this
recently.
Is note to self: watch or look into these.
Remember
movies.
Cooper Wraith. Yeah.
I think we're just between worlds. I feel like it's about to happen. Like the changing of the guard's about to occur.
I feel like I've been waiting for the changing of the guard for a minute. You know what I mean? And it feels like it was gonna, or like it's about to. You have the things like the Arab Spring and all these things that like they're gonna change, and then it's just like authoritarian boot. It's just like nope. More of what you've seen before. Same old shit. I
mean, yeah, a little bit, a lot bit. We're picking specific fights too, because obviously we're talking a lot about media.
Yeah.
And
I want. You know what I want to see? I just had an idea. I want to see like the reverse mirror of us, like what their podcast, like what is the opposite of us, and like things we're talking about. We're talking like media. What's the other like You know what I mean? Like, what are they talking about? Like, what would the other podcast be about? Like how good things are. You know how maybe grace of God, shit like that. No, I'm just kidding. But like like what would they be talking about? Like the opposite of us.
I don't know enough. I don't have enough self-awareness to even say what us is.
What is us? What are we?
What is us? Other predictions, people.
What am I?
I think Jordan Peele is going to keep killing it.
Jordan Peele, yes.
In the movie
I really
game.
want to see Nope,
Jordan
dude.
Peele is going to be 50 years. Amazing.
Yeah.
Just keep putting out hits, classics.
I mean, he has his pulse on something. You know what I mean? Because it's too interesting because he's not. I mean, yeah, Get Out was very zeitgeisty. I feel like pop. But like this Nope, this alien, like he's just like doing what he feels, and it's really working out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm hyped to see that movie.
I'm psyched to see his movie. Yeah. People love Ari Aster. Is another one.
Oh, the two guys that did Uncut Gems.
The Safdies.
Safdies.
Josh.
And one of them was in the Obi-Wan show as a Jedi. One of the Safdie brothers was a Jedi.
Played as a Jedi?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. Speaking of, like...
This is never going to work if the established franchises are soaking up these young talents.
But that's the thing, though. Like, Marvel and all these are so big. Like, you're seeing the next stars are... But then think about it. Like, the two of the biggest... Okay, here, we'll take it like this. Two of the biggest superheroes... How about Batman? There's two Batman. They're now in the Marvel universe. You had Michael Keaton, who played the Vulture as a villain, and now you have Christian Bale, who's now the villain in the new Thor movie, right? So you're literally taking other superheroes and like bringing them into your franchise, right? And then it's even crazier for Michael Keaton because now he's going to go back and be Batman again.
Is he really?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
So the new Flash movie that's coming out at the end of the year with Ezra Miller, who that's a whole other story. That fucking piece of shit guy. He's the Flash, and they filmed this movies, and he's just this horrible monster. And this Flash movie that they made is supposedly like really good, but he's the star, so it's like totally like DC movies cannot catch a break. But long story short, they're killing Ben Affleck, right? He's the Batman from the last couple of years, and they're bringing back Michael Keaton, and he's going to be the new Batman.
They're doing an old Batman?
They're doing old like bringing him back, and he's gonna like be the king of the mentor for the new generation. Because they're gonna do a Batgirl movie and a Nightwing movie. So instead of like focusing on the past, they're gonna try to bring all these new people in, like you're talking about, So here you go, comic books. You want to talk about new stuff coming in? Okay.
Let's hear it.
So I was in the grocery store, and
Youngblood, please.
Yes. So I was in the grocery store and I passed a Hershey display, right? And it had Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman on there. And I was like, oh, cool. Like, I'm a big comic book guy. And as I got closer, I was like, wait a minute. Those guys don't look what they... And so next to their names, in parentheses, they had their names. Because what's happening in DC Comics is they're killing off Batman, Superman, The Flash, Aquaman, and a Green Lantern. They're literally killing them off, and they're basically bringing their proteges up into the forefront and like making them the new versions. So there's a new Wonder Woman, there's a new Superman, it's Superman's son, there's a new Batman, this guy named Jace Fox, and they're like, it seems like what they're doing is committing to it. They're not doing like, oh, well, maybe we'll see it in a couple of years. It's like, they'll be back. They're like, nope, they're dead. This is it. We're going to move forward. And so they're bringing this new blood in to comics.
It sounds more like a rap retirement to me. Like they're just like, no, I swear to God, I'm done. All right. Come see my last show.
I don't believe it. I think in 4 or 5 years, they'll come back.
Like they're just trying to get people to take the new characters seriously.
Again, you can't. Right. Because the new characters, they're all, for lack of a better term, they're very woke characters, right? Wonder Woman, they're not all white guys and white women anymore. The Wonder Woman characters, she's like, they're Nubian or something like that. So she's like part African. She's like a part African Amazonian. Jace Fox is Lucius Fox. Remember Morgan Freeman's character in the Batman movies?
Yeah.
So in the comics, he exists and he's got kids. So one of his kids, Jace Fox, takes over as Batman. So, Batman's black. And then you have John Kent, who's Superman's son, and there was the hubbub about him because he's gay. So like you have a gay, and then two black people as like the new superheroes. So there's already like, like just too much. Like what is going on? You're taking away, all the fanboys. You're taking away my characters. But it's kind of like let's like change, let's refresh, let's try new stories, new people. You know what I mean?
But keep the same logos.
But keep the same. Their outfits are like vaguely different, but it's still bat symbol, Superman symbol, everything's still there.
I mean, they're all brands.
But that just goes back to the new.
You see it in so many things. Even the president is like an old brand. You know what I mean? He's been running for president for 40, 50 years.
Dude, I am
maybe not 50 years.
I hate
but he's been
how
around.
Over I am him. How over I am of him. Like, I'm just so over it.
I honestly spend very little time thinking about Joe Biden.
But that's but like,
I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just mentioning that. I'm just mentioning that.
So some comedian was like, "Hey, did you hear the last thing Joe Biden said?" And then the audience was silent. He's like, "Yeah, exactly, right. Isn't it nice? You know, like, yeah, I don't hear about him anymore. I don't hear about him other than him falling off bikes and doing old man shit, right? Like,
yeah, that's not a good look. You get this guy an electric motorcycle anyway, you know.
What is he even doing? Like, what did we vote for? Like, I'm saying me, I guess I'm a liberal Democrat now, but like, you know, what did we vote for? He's like, they've literally accomplished nothing. We lost abortion and Democrats are the majority party. Like, what? Like,
it's
what?
Crazy.
You've done nothing. Everyone's like lame-basting Republicans. Everyone's talking crap about Republicans. How about like the Democrats stop being such like feckless fucking cowards and like do something? Like,
it's really tiring at this age. I'm 33, just to watch them lose every conceivable position
constantly,
every conceivable position play, every power.
It's like Roadrunner and fucking Wile E. Coyote. That's what it is, and that's what it is. You know, and they're just letting themselves get abused. I think ultimately they don't care. They wanted to. They're all paid by the same people.
It's not a good look. I mean, the incumbent party always gets murdered in the midterms. It seems like it's going to be no different.
Yeah,
for here.
It's going to be even worse, and then all this stuff they're going to whatever. Anyways, I don't want to get back on that horse, but Joe Biden.
Yeah, it's not even fair because like a lot of times it's some long-term arc of the economy, and it just so happens to be where you are in the cycle.
Absolutely.
Take all this credit. Maybe sometimes you don't deserve it. You know, it makes it seem like you do. I was just curious, because I mean it's funny. Cult of personality. Talked about Trump so much while Trump was president, and now Biden. Totally inconsequential. It went straight from Trump to Elon in terms of who's the day-to-day
fanboy
narrative creator.
Yeah, Ron DeSantis, right? He's the other one.
He's supposed to run for president. Yeah, which he seems like he's primed for the position of power. I mean, at least in how he like loves to command.
I just read a huge article
headlines.
about him and his whole shebang and his like style and the whole thing. It's just frightening.
Can you sum it up in like a few words?
Terror. It's terrifying. It's terrifying.
He uses like
he just
war on terror type terror.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen what he's done. He's war on like wokeness, but that war on wokeness is an absolute distraction from actually completing any policy goals, right? So like Florida, like everyone loves Florida, blah blah blah. But like, the Don't Say Gay bill, like I was reading something about how the public education of Florida is absolutely going to be very shortly the worst in the country because of things like the Don't Say Gay bill,
the beaches,
the wonderful beaches. Everybody just wants to be in the beaches. But like, there's these things that he's done that's like really like harmful. But the thing about him is like unlike Trump, is he does not listen to the outside influence. He continues to barrel through and do whatever he wants. So like, Trump kind of sometimes would just like vacillate and was like kind of like he would let himself get manipulated by the external forces. DeSantis is like, nope, I will not listen to anybody, and he doesn't like glad handing. He doesn't like being an actual politician. It's like he's a fascinating person, but it's just he's terrifying.
I was mainly just thinking about the time he like chopped the heads off those kids standing behind him for wearing masks that one time. Oh my God. Like 2 months ago. Like, you could take those things off, you're really embarrassing yourselves up here. Looking like a bunch of cucks, around the future president of the United States.
That's his whole shebang, bro. Like, he's just, he's not afraid to tell somebody, like, you're a fucking raw, I don't know, man. I don't know.
DeSantis on the come up.
DeSantis on the come up, bro. DeSantis on the come up. I hope maybe JB Pritzker, maybe JB Pritzker will run. He's actually not a bad guy. I think he's a pretty decent governor. Maybe you disagree.
Run for president?
He's a billionaire. He could do it.
That's true.
He could do it.
It is going to be a money.
He's balanced. He balanced the Illinois budget. He's like doing positive things for Illinois. I feel like for the most part.
I've heard good things about Pritzker. My friend's dad, who's like longtime Chicago guy, was just talking about, this politician sucks, that politician sucks. It's basically mentioned every local alderman, politician, how they're all terrible. But when they got to JB, he did have some good things to say.
It's really interesting. Yeah, my even my grandfather, who is, I cannot mention the things that he says. But he calls Pritzker Governor Meat Sweats. But he's like, Meat Sweats isn't so bad, And I was like, he's so, vehemently, conservative nowadays. Even though he's the one who taught me how to be liberal, which I always just think is fascinating, But now he's sipped the Kool-Aid. He's sipped the Kool-Aid.
I'm sure he's got some enemies. I mean, talk about the meat.
Oh yeah.
I just hired this guy to do some woodworking in my house, and the first day I met him, and he just like starts talking to me like, yeah, like our fat governor, just like starts attacking
a fat pig governor. That's
like,
what
Jesus,
it's like. Whoa,
take it
dude.
easy.
It's remarkable how people just will like attack another human being that they've never met and just say the worst, most vile things to them. Adam Kinzinger, Adam Kinzinger, he's the representative. He's on the January 6th committee. He's an Illinois representative. Yeah. He played all the audio tapes of like everybody calling his office and the things that they were saying to him while they were calling his office. And it's just like people are just fascinating that they could call another human being up and leave a message talking about, I know where you and your family live. We're going to come and get you. You're not safe. You think you're safe? And then just like beep, 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 with all the expletives these people are shouting at him. And it's like, you don't even know this person. You don't even know this person.
They're probably just calling because they're upset they just lost a bet on FanDuel or DraftKings or something. They got to take their anger out in the real world.
Always. That's always what it is. It's always what it is. And you know what? They're cowards because they know like no one's going to call him back. You know what I mean? It's not like they would never go up to his face and say that to him, but they'll call him because they can leave a voicemail and it's private,
Gotta have something to apologize to Jesus to on the weekend. Too.
And all these people love fucking Jesus. That's the thing. They all fucking love Jesus. And in my mind, it's like I've read enough about Jesus to be like, he'd not like you guys.
Where's the next Christian franchise? Where's the next Jesus movie coming out?
Presbyterians. No. Yeah, when is the next Jesus movie? I'm sure. Hey, dude, give it some time. Give it some time because like once we become the giant theocracy that they want us to become, that's all it's going to be is Jesus movies.
We haven't had a big Jesus movie since Passion of the Christ, right? It's almost been 20 years.
Yeah, that was like the last one. There's so many like secret ones with Kevin Sorbo where he's like in these like Christian movies.
I don't know. Are there?
Yeah.
Kevin Sorbo?
Kevin Sorbo, dude. Kevin Sorbo. The Hercules.
Hercules, right.
Kevin Sorbo is Hercules, and he is also now a conservative ideologue, and he makes a lot of like religious movies, and like he's. But he's China, a bummer. That's what he is.
China makes those like military action movies where they like put the People's Party and try to make them look all glamorous. Why isn't that happening with the Jesus movies? They got 75% of the country.
That's the thing though. Jesus movies don't sell. Again, there's just this tiny population that loves him, but the population at large doesn't, which is that also you could take that as like what's happening in the country. There's a small minority that cares what happens, and they're the very active ones, right? But then the community at large, the 80% of us that want abortion, we're like, I don't want to do anything about it. I just want it to happen, right?
Well, country music still sells extremely well.
That's rap for white people.
Right. Why can't each country music album or download come with a digital ticket to go see the next Judas movie? It can be a whole...
I love it. Judas, the bad guy.
They can have all the characters fleshed out, just like Joker's Judas, right? Like they can do like the side projects along with it.
The Christianity cinematic universe.
Exactly.
CC.
Christ cinematic universe. All right, well, we hit it today. I don't think we can end on anything better than that.
No, that's it? Okay.
Christ's cinematic universe.
Well, I mean, like, that's what it could be, right? We could do it. We could do all the books of the Bible. We could have, like, spin-off shows of, like, side characters, right? There'd be one of, like the devil, Or I think Judas would be great.
Come on. Yeah, why not the devil?
Satan, you could have a spin-off of a prequel of Adam and Eve, what I mean?
CGI and the devil in hell, the flames. It's got to be great at this point.
Right. And him just walking the earth being a monster and everything like that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
All right, comment below which franchise you want us doing first, because we'll start writing the screenplay. We'll call Cooper Wraith and see if he's available.
Yeah, I'm sure he's got plenty of stuff going on.
We'll do either Judas, the devil, or Jesus.
Who the fuck are you guys?
All right, thanks for joining, everyone.